racing to the massive roar of the crowd. Lady of Camelot, a spectacular win in the Golden Slipper. Chain of Lightning, Bella Nipotina. Chain of Lightning's won the TJ. Bella Nipotina wins the Everest. A thriller there at the end.
With Tim Gilbert and Julie Snook, this is Racing Dreams.
Hello and welcome to Racing Dreams. It is Saturday. We've got a huge show on the way, Jules.
We certainly do, Timmy. Good morning to you. Good morning to you at home. Lots happening in the racing world. Let's take a look at what we've got coming up on the program for you this morning. Looking forward to this one. We catch up with legendary British trainer William Haggas as he prepares for another Sydney autumn campaign.
How well does he do? Plus, we hear from champion jockey Craig Williams as he prepares for another Sydney Championships campaign.
And Newcastle trainer Kris Lees joins us live as we talk his star colt, Rivellino.
Yeah. Got all the stars this morning. Michael Freeman's here as well, of course, after his Golden Slipper win. I think the party has just finished.
Don't blame them.
Finished. And, of course, the news that's just come in this morning, if you haven't heard it, Rosehill Gardens, there's been an enormous amount of rain. There's a lot more rain predicted. So today's racing is off and obviously that has repercussions. It needs to be rescheduled. Yes,
it does. And we'll have updates all throughout the morning. This has literally just taken place sort of in the last 20 minutes. So we're still getting all the information through rescheduling to take place, etc., etc. But for more on this, let's bring in Daily Telegraph racing journalist Shano Cass. Good morning to you, Shano.
Good morning, Julie. Good morning, Timmy. Great shame that meeting's been called off, but contingencies, as you said, are being planned. It's a very important meeting because it has ramifications for the entire championships. You know,
there's a few ideas, isn't there?
There are a few.
There's the possibility of a Tuesday meeting, a possibility that the whole carnival could get pushed back a week.
Well, absolutely. And the good thing is that they've made an early decision. I mean, trainers will be able to know what's happening. I mean, people who are going to the races, you know, things like that. But look, we'll have a Tancred Stakes meeting. It'll just be a matter of when. And we'll have a championships as well.
And it all comes down to, we had about 17 mils of rain overnight, but it's the rain that's forecast for the remainder of the day, up to 50 mils here in Sydney. We've seen that rain come along the east coast, and if you're right on the coastline too, it hasn't let up. It has not let up. So it's the forecast for the remainder of the days.
Absolutely. I mean, the tracks in New South Wales are absolutely superb, particularly the metropolitan tracks. I mean, they drain like a tap. You know, they're absolutely fantastic. But rain on the day is what worries the authorities, because the jockeys obviously don't like to ride in the rain due to visibility and things like that. So getting out there and calling them off after race 3 would have been not very wise. So well done to Racing New South Wales, call it off.
Yeah, and it's interesting, the Tancred Stakes days, we peel off the racing vision and talk, or the rain vision, and talk about the races again. It's pivotal to what comes the next 2 weeks, because there's horses that will be running in this meeting that will have a view to either running Doncaster Day or the second week of the Championship.
Absolutely. Well, 2 of the races on the undercard are the Vinery Stakes and also the Tulloch Stakes. Now, those 3-year-olds, the fillies and the colts, they're going to be aimed towards the Derby and then the Oaks. Now, it's not so bad for the Oaks horses because they've got a few days extra, maybe even a week extra to back up. But if the Tulloch Stakes colts want to back up in the Derby, and we do race closer to the Derby, then it's a little bit of an issue for them. Some trainers may scratch and go straight in, but some of them will want to win the Tulloch to get into the Derby. So lots to think about for the trainers. But as I say, we're going to have a meeting, and that's the important thing.
Yep.
And there are some horses we will get to in just a moment. Before we get to that, though, some more news that came in last night that the Rosehill vote has now been postponed.
That's right. They were due to vote on the sale of Rosehill next week, but it's been pushed back 6 weeks to May 12. Racing New South Wales decided that due to the members saying that they weren't quite sure of the 2 cases, the yes and the no, that they'd like some more information. So expect a flurry of information to the members in the next 6 weeks, so they get to decide on what's a pretty big issue in racing.
People talk about the Everest 365 days a year all around the world. They do, but we do have our first horse.
I love this
story. It's from a trainer on the rise in Newcastle.
Absolutely. Nathan Doyle's life changed, I think, last week when, or in fact Friday night, when we heard that Yulong Investments had paid $15 million for half of Private Harry, but also more importantly, that secures him the slot in the Everest, a Yulong slot. So Nathan Doyle's gone from a person who's very well known in the industry as a clever young up-and-comer, as you say, a very good trainer. But, I mean, he'll be put out there in the general public now, because if you're an Everest trainer, you're a celebrity trainer. And a lot of people are going to hear Nathan Doyle's name and watch him speak. He's a very impressive young man, young compared to two of us on the table anyway. So, but it's
one of us.
But look, he's got a great horse. The horse is unbeaten at the moment, Private Harry. He's second favourite for the TJ Smith, and he's very much like a Giga Kick or a Think About It. You know, horses that went into the race on the up. Look, in Giga Kick's case, he was unbeaten. Maybe
Dare I
Private Harry
say
will be
it,
unbeaten.
it's a racing dream.
Oh, it is a racing dream. I wish someone would pick up the phone and call me with 15 mil, that's for sure. Another.
But the thing
15 mil point.
But the thing about Private Harry is, guys, he's a syndicated horse. So there are a lot of people in that horse who are just your average run-of-the-mill racing fans.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, they're not millionaires themselves. They might be now, but you know, prior to this, they just had a horse that they thought might, you know, win a race in Sydney.
And Kaying Rising, I spoke to David Hayes the other day. I was up in Hong Kong, and he basically, you know, Kaying Rising is the favourite international horse.
Yeah, $2.50 favourite. I mean, look, he adds a huge dimension to the Everest, because I'm not sure we've seen a horse, with all respects to Nature Strip, I'm not sure we've seen a horse as good as Kaying Rising that's going to contest an Everest. I mean, Shane Dye compared the horse to Black Caviar, and if you go and have a look at some of these horses' wins in Hong Kong, which you would have seen, guys, I mean, he's a machine, this horse. I mean, he breaks track records, his own track record, every time he races, and he does it with his head on his chest. So,
when you think he's had horses like Jeune and Better Loosen Up, and he says this is the best he's had.
Yeah, well, David Hayes is pivotal as well, because he knows what it's like to win races in Australia. He's had Everest runners before, certainly nothing as good as Kaying Rising. So he's going to map this horse perfectly into the Everest. He's going to get a run. It's just a matter of how much the slot holders are going to have to hand over to the owners to get the slot.
Or just on the international element, day one of the championships, we know we've got some international jockeys already out here in contention for those champs rides.
Yes, we're going to have Ryan Moore, who's considered the best jockey in the world. Personally, I think James McDonald's better, but that's where Ryan Moore sits at the moment. And then we've got Zach Purton's coming back. Look, a great jockey, caught up with Zach in Hong Kong. I mean, his record over there is phenomenal. But also when he comes back to Australia, Zach Purton's a very, very good jockey in these Group 1s, because he handles pressure so well. Sadly, James McDonald's won't be there for the first day, but, you know, when you pick up the two next best jockeys in the world, there'll be something to watch. Interesting, Ryan Moore's ridden over 200 Group 1 winners, but he's never ridden a winner or place getter at Randwick. Yeah. Ryan Moore from 9 rides, but I'm sure he'll change that when he gets in. And
Zach Purton looking for his 4th Doncaster on Moira with Chris Waller. But just a quick one before we let you go. We're about to go to a story about one of the absolute legends of world racing, William Haggas.
He's an incredible person, William Haggas. He is probably the most influential overseas trainer that's come down to these parts since Dermot World, maybe even more so. I saw some stats that my boss Ray Thomas assembled during the week, and he's got a 52% winners to runners in Australia, 19 winners from over many of those, 31 starters. He is absolutely incredible. He wins 7 times he's won with a first-up horse in Australia. He is a bookie killer. Every time they win, they're off the map. Punters love him, and his horses are very, very good when they get here.
Absolutely. Well said. Good on you, Shane. We'll do it again next week.
Look forward to it.
All right, and I've just heard we should know exactly where we're racing shortly on the program, so stay right with us. Of course, cancelled today at Rosehill, but it's going to go ahead over the next few days, and we can tell you exactly when. Now, William Haggas, he's one of the biggest names in world horse racing. The Englishman who trained winners for the late Queen has had great success, as we've just heard from Shane, right here in Sydney.
3 Queen Elizabeth Stakes, and last year's a Golden Eagle, just to name a few. He knows how to break the Aussie hearts. He has one. He did have one scheduled at Rosehill today. Timmy, you've caught up with him.
Absolutely.
Is William Haggas going to do it again? Dubois 3 lengths clear. Last year's winner, Montefilia, can't get there, and Dubois can't handle a dry track. Look at him go. Dubois ripped clear to win it by 5 lengths to Montefilia. Dubois has destroyed them in the Randwick Stakes. It's Dubois hitting the lead from Adamo. They beat off Unicorn Line, but Dubois is drawing clear, and William Haggas has done it again. Dubois by 3 lengths to Adamo.
He won the Randwick and the Queen Elizabeth 2 years ago. Missed last year, but he's back, and he ran at Shartin and finished 2nd in December. He really wants a 1.5 miles now, so he's going to go for the Tancred at the weekend, and then hopefully onto the Queen Elizabeth, and then hopefully to Shartin after that.
So he's travelling a bit?
Yeah, he loves it, and we love travelling him too.
That's the thing about a horse of his stature and nature. He's been so good. He's been a war horse, if I can use that term for you.
Absolutely. And he he's been a great horse for us, and a very talented one, very durable, very sound, and he's won probably $8 million. He's won £4 million. I don't know what that equates to in Australia, but that's a lot of money for an English horse, albeit he's won most of his money abroad.
Lake Forest, William Haggas with an outstanding strike rate when he comes to Sydney, and young Kieran Fallon in the saddle. So Lake Forest moves in now. The big field set to go, and they're racing. Lake Forest bursting home on the rails. Lake Forest, William Haggas has done it again. Lake Forest got up to nail, I think, Lazat and Tom Kidden on the wire. That's it, the Golden Eagle of 2024, a foreign victory, Lake Forest. Lake Forest with a rails hugging ride from Kieran Fallon. Oh, every time William Haggas comes to Australia, he gets us in one of the big ones.
Yeah, he did really well. He was well ridden, and it was a plan that at last came off. I thought he was probably fortunate to beat the French horse, who's a better horse than him in Europe, but the French horse possibly went a bit hard, and we managed to pick him off at the end. But he's a talented horse, Lake Forest, and not one to be underestimated.
What about your view on the Sydney Autumn? You've had such success there. Dave, of course, winning 2 of the big Queen Elizabeth Stakes.
Yeah, we love it, obviously. We've been very lucky there, and the facilities are great for us. And it rains usually. It didn't rain for the first one in the Ranvet, but hopefully it's going to rain next weekend. And it's been so hot in Sydney, hopefully it'll rain a bit more, and that will suit our horses. They come into their own on wetter tracks in Sydney.
It's such a wonderful industry, and you scratch the surface, the depth, the history, the wonder.
Absolutely, and the care that the horses get too. We mustn't forget that. They love to race, they're bred to race, they're born to race, and they probably race once a month in their lifetime if they're lucky. And the care they get in the other 29, 30 days is wonderful. It's a fantastic sport, a fantastic industry, and loved by many.
When you're back home, does the alarm start buzzing around the room when the races are on in Sydney, or are you already up?
Well, no, we don't need an alarm. I get up to watch those, but I watch it every weekend, wherever we are. Always watch the Australian racing, especially at this time of the year, in your autumn, in your spring as well. So I love it. I follow it closely, and I have a tiny little share in a very moderate horse with Kieran Ma, and I will continue to do that. If they buy horses off me that I think will do well there, I'll keep an interest in them to give myself an interest.
And what a quality individual William Haggas is. I had the opportunity to speak to him in Newmarket a couple of years ago. We spoke to him there. He's just such a great guy and so talented.
Oh, he's incredible, and with a bit of luck, we'll see more of him here in Australia.
Absolutely, Jules. Now, another guy that's talented. I think the party just finished at 11 o'clock last night. Michael Friedman, are you with us? How are you, my dear friend?
Yeah, good morning, Tim. Good morning, Julie.
You've done so much partying. You did a rain dance to put an end to this weekend's racing so that you could just have a bit of a recovery, did you?
Tell us about...
Actually, I was pretty subdued this year. I did find probably in staying sides here, I might have got off the bridle a little bit, but this year we sort of enjoyed it up until about 9 o'clock on Saturday night, and then Anna, my wife, quite sensibly got me in a headlock and took me home, which I certainly felt a lot better for it on Sunday, and now it's been back to business as usual this week.
As all us wives do.
Yes, exactly.
Always the handbrake.
Exactly. Oh, the headlock. Now, Maruna, just a great win, a great ride as well. Can you talk us through it? Obviously, prepared beautifully.
Yeah, look, it was one of those things. I think from the outset we were quite fortunate to even be in the race with as little prize money as she'd won. $85,000 wouldn't normally get you within cooey of getting a run in the Golden Slipper, but this year that obviously wasn't the case, and we snuck in at the very last minute. She was the last one into the race, and I think we were very, very fortunate to sort of secure Damien Lane at the last minute as well, a rider of his quality. And then, my foreman Ben Duckworth went out and drew a good marble for us, which was pleasing, and Damien sort of did the rest on race day, and the race panned out for him sort of exactly how we discussed it on Saturday morning. So it was one of those, I guess, rare times where everything sort of lined up and went to plan.
You said that you were a bit more subdued in the celebrations. You also seemed more subdued post-race. How were you feeling heading into this one? Because it was one of those slippers that we'd sort of all been saying in the lead-up. It was one of the most open slippers we'd seen in a decade. So where was the mindset? How are you feeling heading into last Saturday?
I was very relaxed all week leading into it, Julie, mainly because I did feel as though we were quite fortunate to even be in the race. I was sort of half preparing her to be ready for one of the other 2-year-old races later in the carnival, like a Percy Sykes. So, but we kept working her, the weekend prior as though, we were going to get a start, and galloped her on the Tuesday morning in preparation if we did get in later that morning. So we had a pretty good sort of cruisy week all week. She had a very sort of trouble-free week leading into it. Went through the trot-ups on 2 occasions like all the runners had to, and she passed that with flying colours. So, I was actually quite relaxed on race day, which in those big races sometimes can be a bit unusual for me.
We are going to talk to Brett Devine shortly from the Australian Turf Club to get the full detail. It does look like Tuesday is going to be the replacement day for this race day. A horse like Ducasse was going to be in the prelude. You're obviously trying to qualify for the Doncaster. What happens there?
Yeah, well, that's obviously news to me. If the meeting looks like it might go ahead on Tuesday, because it does perhaps change things a little bit as to how we go. Because obviously, if we'd have raced today, it would have been a 7-day backup. That's on the assumption that he could actually get into the race. So I'll have to probably, now that you've just told me that, go and sort of rejig things a bit and make a few other plans.
Well, as we said, we're expecting up to 50 mils of rain today, hence why today's scheduling has been pushed back. It looks very wet at your stables as well. Just from a trainer's perspective, I suppose, especially for these carnivals, how much of an implication is this? How does this change your plans?
Well, it can vary for different horses, obviously, Julie, because they're all on sort of different programs. Obviously, for horses that may have been racing today with the view of maybe backing up into next Saturday's meeting, it does change things quite a bit. I think for other horses later in the carnival, probably not so much. The fact that if the race meeting goes ahead Tuesday, it won't really have too much of an effect on them. So, it is very much an individual thing depending on what type of program you've got each of your horses on.
I've got a very small interest in a charge of yours, Militant. He's spelling at the moment. Have you had any updates?
He's flying, Tim. I'm very excited about him. I think he's actually going back into pre-training, and we'll have him back here at Randwick within the next 2 or 3 weeks. So you'll have to come down and have a look at him.
Absolutely. Might have our own little racing dream right there. Just a couple of other horses to talk about, of course. Time to Boogie and Enriched just behind Autumn Glow the other day.
Yeah, he's really gone to a new peak this preparation. It's taken him a while to grow into himself. He's a really big, strong sort of horse, and he had a few sort of just immaturity issues for a good 12 months, but I think this preparation for Enriched has certainly been his best one. And couldn't be happy with him. He'll probably head to the Arrowfield, where we'll obviously have to run into Autumn Glow again. But I think he's worthy of having a crack at a race like that. Time to Boogie. He didn't really back up last weekend into the sprint race from the week before. But he's had a great campaign. We made the decision after last Saturday that it was time to give him a bit of a break. So he's out in the paddock having a well-earned rest at the moment.
All right, well, you go and have a well-earned rest today as well. We appreciate your time this morning. Stay dry. It looks like it's been a very wet night there, that's for sure. We appreciate having a chat to you this morning.
My pleasure. Good to chat.
Just one other thing I was going to ask you, Maruna, do you think, like Spelling now, come back for any ideas there?
Yeah, I came in on Sunday morning and had a good look over, and she was actually feeling her shins quite a bit, which is, can be a little bit of a 2-year-old thing when they're still maturing. So that probably added more merit to her effort the day before. So she went to the paddock on Tuesday, and she'll be off the scene for. We'll give her a good 6 weeks. We might even give her a little bit more if we feel she needs it, because we've got plenty of time now to have her ready for the spring.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate that. Great to have people like Michael Freedman, who won the Golden Slipper last week. Kris Lees is coming up. All you have to do is pick the phone call up with most people in this industry and they say, sure, what time do you want me for Racing Dreams? We've got plenty more on the way.
We certainly do. Coming up, champion jockey Craig Williams, fresh off a win in the prestigious Hong Kong Derby. He's coming up next on Racing Dreams.
Nice to have your company, and of course the news today on Racing Dreams is that all the rain we've had, and there's plenty more to come, Rosehill has been wisely postponed. We are going to race on Tuesday, that is the word, and with that I'd like to bring in Brett Devine from the Australian Turf Club, who has been good enough to join us right now. Brett, so it all looks like Tuesday.
Absolutely, Tim. Good morning to you, good morning Julie, and good morning to all the punters across Australia. People in Sydney will know that it's a pretty wet and miserable day here, and we've had to postpone the meeting. Yes, that's correct. It will now be run on Tuesday. A lot of phone calls and consultation has gone on this morning with members of the racing industry, but particularly trainers, to make sure that the majority are happy with pushing it back just a few days as opposed to another week and pushing the whole carnival back. So the decision has been made by Racing New South Wales stewards and the Australian Turf Club that we'll race the full meeting on Tuesday at Rosehill Gardens. Hopefully, and the forecast says that the rain will ease, we'll get back into a softish track rather than a heavy track. But at the very least, we will be racing on Tuesday, all things being equal. So big decisions to be made and lots to be made. We've done it as quickly as possible this morning to give everybody time to prepare and move on.
As we said a little earlier in the show, we've had up to 17 mils of rain this morning here in Rosehill, but it's more that forecast for the remainder of the day. There is a lot more rain on the way.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Julie. The forecast says that we could get up to maybe another 40 or 50 millimetres, which would very much put the rest of the meeting in doubt. We obviously could have got through a few races early on, but then we've got everybody heading towards Rosehill from far-flung areas, including country areas, to race, and then we have to turn them back. So it is that fine balance between trying to make the call at the right time as quickly as possible. But at the end of the day, jockey safety, horse safety is the very first thing that comes to mind. We want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to race on a fair but also safe surface, and we don't want to put that in jeopardy either. So to go through 3 or 4 races, which we've done in the past, obviously shows you that it's a fine balance. Sometimes you can chance your arm and think you can get through it, but other times you just trust in the forecast and say, you know what, it's better not to put everyone through the effort and to waste their time, so to speak, to come to the races. It wouldn't have been ideal out there today to start off with, but certainly as the day went on, it probably looked impossible.
Yeah, and long-range forecast, I have never tiptoed into. I did a couple of weather presenting spots many years ago, but I didn't do it with a hell of a lot of confidence. But it does look like it's going to be pretty good the next couple of weeks. So Julie and I will be trackside next week for Doncaster Day. So if there was going to be a day of these 3 weeks, not diminishing today, it's probably the better of the 3.
Yeah, look, you're probably right there, Tim. And again, it's a fine balance, isn't it, between making sure that all the racing stables, owners, trainers get that chance to race for as much prize money as they possibly can. Owners invest so much money into the sport, and trainers and everybody around them in their stables invest so much time and effort in their own money as well, that we try to maximise as best we can running all of these races and offering the prize money. So to be able to still stage 10 races on a day for prize money and for the punters is important. Hopefully, as you say, that we will get past the worst of the weather. We've had a pretty good run, to be honest, in the last few months, and we'll get to Randwick after Tuesday and continue on with the Star Championships. What a huge 3 weeks it is out there as well. A lot will be going on, a lot of prize money to be won there as well. So we've still got plenty to look forward to.
And just quickly on that, before we let you go, I saw you out at Randwick earlier in the week. Everything is sort of being put into position for day one of the championships. It's looking sensational out at Randwick. Just give us a quick preview of what's to come next week.
Yeah, look, the first thing to come is 4 big Group 1s. That traditional Doncaster Derby Day is one of the great days in Australian racing, but on the Australian and Sydney sporting calendar. So the first thing to expect is great racing. But as you can see from some of the vision there, there's loads of other stuff that goes on and off the track. Pamper lounges, the Wink stand and the Peacock Lounge. That Peacock Lounge has become really popular for the general admission customers. That is all included in your general admission ticket. You don't have to pay anything extra to get into the Wink stand and the Peacock Lounge. There's after the last concerts, all included again in your ticket. So you can get the light rail there right to the door at Royal Randwick. So whether it be the travel, the ease of the travel, that's all free as well, I must say. Public transport is all included in your ticket, or if you're an ATC member, it's included on your card as well. So you can get to the races safely, for free. You can have a great time with family and friends, get into that Wink stand, that Peacock Lounge, but most of all, massive Group 1 action next week, 4 Group 1 races. Bring it on.
Absolutely. And thanks for making yourself available. I know it's a very busy day. The phone's buzzing all around the joint. Enjoy your weekend.
Thanks, Tim and Julie. Thank you to everybody for giving us the opportunity. As you can see, I don't have to wear the suit today, so that's an easy.
Nice to see you, Brett. Thank you very much for your time. Well, over the next few weeks, the eyes of the racing world will be on Sydney for the championships. I think it's my favourite time of year where the best of the best will be here to compete.
Absolutely, Jules, including champion jockey Craig Williams, the 2-time Everest winner, is fresh off a win in the prestigious Hong Kong Derby.
Hong Kong Derby, favourite the 1, money the 3, money the 11. All clear from the back. Racing in the Derby. And Lowrider from the inside rolls forward. Cap Ferrara away well. Cap Ferrara, he's gone through on the inside. Packing Angel, My Wish, it's still Cap Ferrara. My Wish drives. What a finish. Cap Ferrara or My Wish. It's a photo finish in the Derby. Craig Williams has put Cap Ferrara, who's never won a race worldwide, and has he broken his worldwide maiden in the Derby? We're going to leave it to the judge. My Wish has come from a mile back. 9 wins it. Cap Ferrara has won the Derby for Craig Williams.
To come out and win the Derby this year with Cap Ferrara, trained by Francis Lloyd, who gave me a great opportunity, really supported me my whole time here throughout the 3 years and other contracts, and it was nothing special, but full credit does go to Francis Lloyd and his team, because I rode this horse 3 weeks ago and I just said, he could do it, but you've got a lot of turning around to do from the horse I had last week, and the way he paraded, the way he raced for me, the barrier draw, and this was his first ever win. He's never won a race before, so he went out in style, and his maiden win was the Hong Kong Derby, so it's quite remarkable.
There's the light now, we're ready to go. The gates are back here in the Everest. They're off and racing to the massive roar of the crowd. Up the inside is Giga Kick. Giga Kick going to Bella Nipotina. Bella's in front though. Bella Nipotina wins the Everest from Giga Kick. Epic finish to the Everest. Bella Nipotina with Giga Kick lunging, missing. Bella Nipotina will just win the Everest. What a daring ride by Craig Williams.
Yeah, I was very fortunate and felt very privileged to be part of her journey, her career, and had so many great successes. But she's an iron lady, you know, she never missed a carnival. She was so effective on wet ground, but even on top of the ground, and the way she won, we had that much confidence going into the Everest to beat the best sprinters in the world, and she didn't have any favours that day, but we just trusted her, and you know, she just was such a winner. So it was a sad day to see her career end, but geez, I've got some amazing memories with her, and credit to Kieran Maher, her trainer, all the owners for making the right decision for where she's at now in her life.
There's the light. We're ready for the Star Doncaster Mile. Big field of 20. Forbidden Love, this year's favourite. And the gates open now. They're off and racing. Forbidden Love under seat. Mr. Brightside charged up. Mr. Brightside takes the lead. Ice Bath runs on. Mr. Brightside for the Hayes boys wins it. Mr. Brightside, Craig Williams for Ben and J.D. Hayes, taking out the Doncaster Mile in the time of 1:39.94.
It's a great memory, the Doncaster, back with him. And he's one of the few horses that have been able to win 2 Doncasters, so he's quite remarkable.
Mr. Tipsy, and now Mr. Kareem is charging along the inside. Mr. Kareem is flying and won the Sydney Cup for Williams. Mr. Kareem from Divine Rebel and Mr. Tipsy. Mr. Kareem's the winner, number 5. Ridden by Craig Williams, trained by Colin Liddell, and he takes out the Sydney Cup.
And you've won so many of the races. Sydney Cup with Mr. Kareem back in 2009.
Yeah, it was a great win for Colin Liddell, and yeah, great memories for the Sydney Championships. There's such great racing over the 2 days of the Sydney 2 days championships, and I'm really looking forward to getting up to Sydney and competing on both days.
You got any of your rides in the book yet, or that'll happen over the next couple of weeks?
Oh, well, my manager's been sorting out a couple. We've got a couple of nice fillies coming up. We just secured a Doncaster ride, and he's now looking for a Sydney Cup, and there's plenty of races. We might have a really nice Arrowfield, nice 3-year-old as well. So a lot of pieces to the jigsaw puzzle to fall in place for us, but I'm looking forward to being part of it.
The championships are fantastic, aren't they, in Sydney?
Yeah, it certainly is, and Sydney do it really well. They promote it really well, and it's great to see Sydney's been a racing area that struggles to get crowds there. Not anymore. They're doing the right things, and people are turning up, and we're in the entertainment business as jockeys, and we love competing and entertaining in front of big crowds, and that's what we're getting in Sydney.
He knows how to win a race, Craig Williams, doesn't he? Of course, Rosehill has been called off today, 17 mils overnight, but the big thing here is that expecting 90 mils and up all day, and raining on a race day is what you don't need. Racing New South Wales representative Mark Brassel, just too much water.
I'll go home and play with my pet dolphin, I think. It is bucketing down outside, so...
But there's a lot of things to the equation. When you make a decision, you've got to think of, do we call it off now to stop all the people that might have wanted to come, every protagonist that's involved?
I think it's great Racing New South Wales has made the early call. I mean, as you said, people can then at least do something on the day rather than go out there, see one race run and then they pull the pin. I mean, I think it's a pretty sensible call. And Tuesday, wow, be a great day Tuesday, won't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, good fun.
And let's be honest, logistically, it's a nightmare. It's not a decision they want to have to be making, but at this stage of the day, it is pouring out here.
Absolutely.
With another 50 mil on the way, it's better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah, well, they'll have a lot of spare sandwiches, I think, out at Rosehill. But yeah, it's the right call. And Tuesday, at least that way, the horses can then fulfil their lead-ups to the championships, which, we can't wait for next 2 Saturdays. So, yeah.
And that's one of the things that Australian Turf Club do just on that food issue is it does go to people that need it, the food that is excess. So that is one of the things that's been put in place over the last few years. All right, now let's have a look at racing. Doncaster next week. Had the opportunity, and we've got a really nice feature coming up with Zach Purton, 3-time Doncaster winner. He's going for a 4th on this wonder horse, Moira.
Moira, yeah, $4.3 million purchase. Yulong, they seem to be winning everything at the moment with Via Sistina. She's a Canadian Horse of the Year. She's obviously very good, won at the Breeders' Cup. She's 15th into 11th, so she's well fancied. The Doncaster, like every Doncaster, is just a ripper of a race. It's $6 a field, I think. Linebacker's the favourite. It's just going to be one of those races during the championships that every single race is just fantastic. I love it. The best 2 days of racing.
We are short on time today, but in terms of the Country Championships final, that will be run next week. That is a cracking concept.
Yeah, 2 really stand out, obviously, Gallant Star, the Skulls horse, and Know Thyself in the Masara camp. They're 2 very, very good horses, so that'll be a cracking contest. But as we saw last year, Asgarda came from the clouds at 25-1 and got the cash. So you never know, do you? But it's great for the country folk.
All right, to scratch the itch, just to scratch the itch, can you find us a couple of winners today, even in Western Australia?
Well, I've got to say, Western Australia, if you cast your mind back, the first ever Everest was the horse that ran second, Vegas Magic, Craig Williams, came from Perth. So a lot of good horses come from Perth. There's 2 there today. Race 7 called Yes Queen, 1 for 1, Willie Pike.
Race 7, Yes Queen. Oh, W Pike.
She'll sit on the pace and win. Very short, I think she's about $1.70. And in race 8, Joker's Grin. He's won 5 of 7. Gets back, charges home. The horse that'll lead is Bravo Centurion, who's won 6 of 9. So they're 2 very, very promising horses who we may see during the spring over here. So you always got to look ahead, haven't you?
Absolutely. No point looking backward. You can't do much about that. Yes Queen.
Get a sore neck.
And Joker's Grin. The only thing we can do anything with today.
And it's a dry track.
Yeah,
it's a dry track over there.
Good to see you.
Yeah, looking forward to Tuesday and next week.
You and the Dolphin have a good Saturday together. We'll see you next week.
Can anyone do a Dolphin impersonation? Anyway, we'll be back in a tick. See you soon on Racing Dreams.
See ya.
Great to have your company on Racing Dreams. Well, Golden Slipper, there was a winner, of course, but there were some great runs in there, including the Colt Rivellina. Hugh Bowman had come back from Hong Kong, came forth. Kris Lees must have been happy with the run, and he joins us right now. How are you, Chris?
Yeah, very well, thanks, Tim.
Good run last week.
Yeah, he ran super. Look, he stepped a little slow, which meant we were last coming to the corner, which is a big ask around Rosehill in any race, especially a Golden Slipper. But we were very proud of his effort to finish 4th, and his run would suggest he'll be more suited back at Randwick next Saturday when he gets to 1400 of the size.
And what a lead up it had been as well. What a special journey this must have been so far with this colt.
Yeah, it was, Julie. He was going in undefeated. He's been a really nice horse from day one, and he's just continued to take that next step every time we've put him under a bit more pressure. He's handled it, and hopeful that we can get one more run out of him for the preparation.
No Hugh Bowman next week?
Yeah, no, Hugh is coming back.
He is?
He's really
Good,
keen
okay.
to come back. So looking forward to getting him back for next Saturday.
And what was his feedback off the back of the slipper?
Oh, he was disappointed, of course, how just the race unfolded for him, but he was very positive about the colt himself. He said, we've got a pretty special horse, and getting back to Randwick, and we'll see the best of him.
What about Broodnell?
Yeah, now they've been very proactive moving the meeting to Tuesday, and I'm looking forward to him on Tuesday because I think real heavy ground, he's okay, but he's perfect on soft ground. So just a little bit of improvement into Tuesday. It'll be a nice race for him Tuesday.
I did a little bit of browsing on your website this week, and I see that you've got some very nice young horses there available. In fact, I need to tell Timmy's wife too, some Pieros, some Fastnet Rocks. You'd be heading out to the English sales soon too, wouldn't you, for a bit of shopping?
Can't wait. Obviously, we'll need plenty of money to be active there. It's going to be a strong sale, a condensed book, which supposedly all the best yearlings that are still on offer. So I think it'll be a really strong sale, but can't wait to get out there.
Timmy will bring the cash. I'll bring the enthusiasm.
That's what I want. Yeah, Tim's cash and your enthusiasm.
Yeah, well, I'll be there Monday. Let's have a chin wag. It's only one life to live, Chris. Well, mate, thanks for coming on. You always make yourself available. All the best for Tuesday in the championships.
Thanks, guys. Good to speak.
Thank you very much, Chris.
This is Racing Dreams. Now, there's a wonderful service called the Australian Racing Christian Chaplaincy that was initiated almost 30 years ago and provides support to those at racetracks across the country.
Now, Deborah Priestley is the first female chaplain to be appointed to the ARCC. It's to help support the growing number of women in the industry. Deb is warm and passionate and just wants you to come and say g'day.
It appeals to me for 3 reasons. Firstly, I love God and I want to honour him and serve him in whatever way he sees fit. Secondly, I love horses and I've had horses, and being amongst horses is just wonderful. And thirdly, I love people, and being in amongst the people is fantastic. Oh, the pink in your dress. I'll be moving amongst the people that are here. The women, predominantly, so the jockeys, people, any women that are involved with the ATC, the strappers, even the trainers, if they would talk to me, if they want to. But I'm here for people, I'm here for the women. A chaplain comes from a spiritual background. So when people are in a really dark place, that can be a spiritual place, and they're going to need that spiritual support as well, and that's something we want to give them. The other thing really is that we're embedded in the place. We come to them. We're part of being here, being in the industry, whereas a psychologist you go and see in their rooms. But we're coming to you. So that's the two big things. My sister started me on it. She just loved horses. And so we got a pony when I was about 8, 9, 10, somewhere around then, and then I had ponies, and then I graduated to having a thoroughbred, and then my sister got involved in the breeding industry, and I piggybacked on her co-sharing a horse, and I love it.
One thing that's changed in racing over the last, say, decades is the number of female participants. It's growing really fast. With jockeys, 75% of apprentices now are female, and that shows itself in the ground staff as well, even trainers. More and more females involved in the industry, and they have the same needs as everybody else, of course. And not that they won't talk to me necessarily, but sometimes a woman would rather talk to a woman. And so to have a female chaplain is important in that way. ARCC, it's there to provide chaplains onto race courses around Australia, and as chaplains we bring pastoral care to people who work in the industry. I'm an Anglican minister, and also I grew up in harness racing. It's the family business, has been for 100 years, and so I grew up in the horse stables. So to be able to join the two together in a role like chaplain to the industry, I guess I could see the needs that the industry had, and I thought, well, I'm, I guess, uniquely placed in the sense to respond to those needs. It's a pretty tough industry. Long hours and such for some of the people in stable hands and so on, and yet most people do it because they love the horses. It's a very difficult lifestyle. It brings a lot of pressure on families. It brings a lot of pressure just emotionally, and the pressure to perform. It just affects your standing in the industry so much. So there's an awful lot of mental pressures upon jockeys and trainers in particular, but that can flow into others. And the ATC wanted to do something for women as well in the industry, and so they've provided seed funding for Deb's role, which is just fantastic, that support from the club. They saw the need to and wanted to do something towards it. They've been a big supporter of the ARCC over the years, and so they just thought, yeah, we want to be involved in this, we want to make it happen, and so they've helped kick it off.
These young women, they're coming up, they're fighting their way, and it's really important that they've got some support. They've got nowhere to go, and they don't know where to go, and they're young and they're fighting hard, especially these young jockeys, to get known, to get appreciated. It does feel like a mammoth job, and my head goes home spinning and thinking, what are the names of the people I met today, da da da. But what a tremendous privilege. What a tremendous privilege. So again, I'd say I'm so humbled and so thankful.
Good to have your company this Saturday morning. We're off to Racing Tuesday, Jules.
We are indeed. Bit of wet weather around here in Sydney, but let's check in with Nick Burney. Good morning to you, Nick. We know that racing is on Tuesday now, so the good news, your tips still apply.
Of course, we can still have a couple of bets on Tuesday. We're going to be on a rain-affected surface still as well, so why not? Let's get straight into it. And my best bet comes in race 7 for the 3-year-old colt in Espionage, who I really like him. I think he's going much better than the form guide reads. And look, you're going to see him there in the green colours. This was the last time he was on a heavy surface, and he absolutely bolted in here. So he's going much better than the form guide reads, and his sectional profile just tells me he's ready to peak third up, but it's all about getting back onto that heavy ground. I really like him. He maps well with Tim Clark on 53 kilos. You want to be down in the weights on these heavy surfaces or soft ground, and I loved how he hit the line this day. So he's ready to win. He's my best on the program. I actually marked him favourite. Moving on to the next best, and it's a 3-year-old filly in Tupakara, and I quite like her. So she's the horse in the white hat here in the blue colours. Now, the other horses I want to note here is in the green colours back on the inside. That is Mahuna, who, as we all know, subsequently won the Golden Slipper, the second horse is Tempted. Arguably should have won the Golden Slipper. So this is the A form leading into Tuesday's race now. And she was 3 wide out on a limb, only off one soft trial. So she did need this run. And I thought she was so brave, sticking on the way she did there, the 7. So I'm happy to put her on top there. And I think she's around that $6 mark. And I think she's a really good each way play as my next best on the program. And moving on to my value bet, though, is Ducasse. So I would have loved for this horse to run today. I thought it was so well in, especially it was such a big price and the money came for it this morning. But it's in the yellow hat there with the red sleeves, and he is just finding the line here, resumed as a gelding. He hit the line strongly, and I really like him. He was flat second up, but if he gets any more rain, he's a swimmer. I really like him. He's a great bet to have Ducasse there on Tuesday, and just coming back as a gelding, this is a different horse. So quite like him. Let's move on though to Dubai Honour in the last. They're coming out to the outside here. We actually beat Enemo this day. The last time we saw him in Australia. He's since gone back home, 2,400 metres. He won a Group 1 in France, and then he went back to Hong Kong, actually in the Hong Kong Vase, and he won that day. He ran one of the fastest final 200-metre splits on the day. So Dubai Honour, I think he is one of the best bets at the Tancred Stakes. So
good on you,
looking
Nick.
forward to today, Port Macquarie. Let's have a look at that.
Yep. Okay, Nick. We'll look at all the racing next week as we get into the championships. Thanks so much for that, mate.
And thank you, of course, to our sponsors, Racing New South Wales. We'll see you live next week from Royal Randwick, day 1 of the championship.
See you then.